pass to Schroeder. He throws it up, and the Germans have done it. They have stunned the United States in the semifinals.
World champion of what? The United States?
People still haven't forgotten about that disaster. The last World Championship that took place a little less than a year ago was a complete failure for Team USA. Not only did they not win the championship when they clearly had the best roster, but they didn't even get a bronze medal. The players, the coaching staff, and the fans all got embarrassed on the world stage. But because of that, we are witnessing one of the best groups of players ever to make up a basketball team. The old heads are reuniting to prove to the world that they still got it. Is this the Redeem Team 2.0? Team USA are coming to the Olympics looking for revenge, a dream roster that combines legends of the present and the future to prove again to the world that basketball belongs to the USA. However, the globalization of basketball has created powers in many parts of the world, and they are hungry and ready to take the throne. So, what can we expect from this roster? Is it really better than the 1992 Dream Team? And what will happen after the Olympic Games? How is the future looking for Team USA over the next decade? This story would not be the same without a momentous statement from one man. He's not a player, he's not a coach, he's not an analyst. We're talking about a sprinter.
You know, the thing that hurts me the most is that I have to watch the NBA Finals and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States? Don't get me wrong. I love the U.S. at times, but that ain't the world. That is not the world. We are the world. We have almost every country out here fighting, thriving, putting on their flag to show that they are represented. There ain't no flags in the NBA.
Noah Lyles set the basketball world on fire with just 4 words. World champion of what? It was August 28, 2023. He had just won the 200-meter dash at the World Athletics Championships in Budapest. But at the same time, the 2023 World Cup of Basketball had begun. Lyles made it clear that the team that had won the NBA championship could not be crowned true world champions without actually demonstrating it in the Olympics versus the rest of the world. It's never been necessary to demonstrate this before. It's just common sense. Everyone knows the NBA is the best in the world. Everyone knows the top talent in the world is in the NBA. Players from all over the world compete for a spot to play on the final stage in the NBA, and they get paid handsomely to do so. The NBA has always attracted the best of the best. In the past, most of the time, they've been American. But that trend could be changing. In 2024, France had 2 of the top 3 players in the draft, 3 in the top 10 if we count Tajan Salan. Last year in 2023, Victor Wembanyama was the number 1 pick from France, a player who many consider to be the next generational talent, who has the potential to change basketball forever. Still, this is not the only problem for basketball in America. Team USA was already going through a bad time. The 2023 World Cup acted as an experiment or development time for Team USA. Everyone knows that this tournament is not the most important FIBA basketball tournament, and for that reason, most of the league's real superstars prefer to take a break to rest and arrive with more strength for the Olympics. But Team USA still had plenty of talented players that would be selected in any other national team. If you have a good performance in this tournament, your chances to be part of the next Olympic roster is much higher. But there is another profile of a player that goes to this tournament. That profile of a player who knows that he does not have the level to be part of an Olympic roster, but he wants to take the opportunity to represent the United States in a FIBA tournament. And this is precisely another aspect that Team USA has to contend with. Although their players are technically much better than the rest of the teams on average, the style of play in the NBA does not always translate to FIBA basketball. NBA offenses are used to a larger court where the defensive center can't stay more than 3 seconds in the paint. This causes a huge difference when it comes to finding space.
Scoring is easier in NBA just because of the amount of the different rules, the less space, the time.
It's harder to score 30 points in a EuroLeague game than it is in an NBA game.
Yeah, 100%.
But there's better players over here.
Oh, way better players. Yeah. I'm just saying because of the rules.
Yeah.
Because the guy can stay. If you have a guy like, let's say, Rudy Gobert, he can stay in the paint on defense 3 seconds, however he wants. Like, just because of that rule, you can have 10 more points easily.
The defense in FIBA is much more crowded, and it is much more difficult to score in isolation. This mismatch creates a lot of problems for certain types of players who see their performance in international competitions limited. However, the rest of the teams in the world do not suffer from this aspect, especially in the case of European teams, whose players have been trained since they were young in this way. The development of European talent often rewards tactics over skill, and this difference allows the teams to reach levels of cohesion that on many occasions seem unattainable for Team USA. European teams just seem to play better as a team. This World Cup result, in a way, proved Noah Lyles right. The gap is closing. It has been a long time since Team USA has been able to blow out all of its opponents, as it did a few decades ago. And the harsh reality is that the American team has to adapt and play as a cohesive team if they want to bring home a championship. But this may be a wake-up call Team USA needed. If that defeat had not happened, it's unlikely that the Team USA roster would look the way it does now. The embarrassment that Team USA suffered in the World Cup has caused the old Avengers to come together to enjoy their last dance. An unrepeatable generation of players that will work as a team to once again prove the United States are at the top. This will most likely be the last chance for LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Kevin Durant to play in the Olympics. These three players represent, along with others, the last generation of American players who were able to dominate the NBA at will. The last generation of players who won MVP awards season after season and who were able to take their team to many finals. These three are some of the best players of all time, and we are getting to see them teamed up for one last dance on the world stage. But not only that, but they are accompanied by an incredible supporting cast of MVP-level players like Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, stars who have managed to take their team to the finals, like Devin Booker, Jason Tatum, and Bam Adebayo. Elite role players like Drew Holiday or Derek White, who already know what it means to win the NBA. Or rising talents with the ability to lead the Team USA of tomorrow, like Anthony Edwards or Tyrese Halliburton. It is completely unfeasible that in a 7-game series, any national team in the world would be able to defeat such a stacked roster. But unfortunately, FIBA basketball doesn't work like that. One bad day from the team's leaders can lead to an elimination that can further sink a team that needs to win gold no matter what. In the international basketball environment, there is not a single game whose victory is assured. Even more so considering that only 12 national teams have earned their place in the Olympic Games. However, this should not be a problem, right? This roster is so stacked that many people are talking about it being the best USA team of all time, even better than the 1992 Dream Team, which went down in history as the best group of players ever assembled on a basketball court. Even more so considering that in 1992, many of those players still had the better part of their careers ahead of them, and perhaps were not yet at their full potential. But is this really true? Is this new redeemed team really better than the most famous team in basketball history? Let's check it out. It's hard to compare two teams that belong to two completely different eras. The play style was so different years ago that these comparisons are almost impossible. The 92 Dream Team included all kinds of players, NBA legends who were about to retire, like Larry Bird or Magic Johnson, players who were in the middle of their prime like Michael Jordan, and even a player who hadn't even made his professional basketball debut like Christian Laettner. Now, in this roster, there were 8 of the top 50 all-time leading scorers in the league. There were also 10 of the 50 best players in history chosen by the NBA in 2017. Among all the Dream Team players, they accumulated a total of 15 regular season MVPs. And if that wasn't enough, among all the players of that unrepeatable roster, they totaled 23 NBA championships at the end of their career. Such milestones are hard to match for any team. One thing is certain, the absence of Kawhi Leonard due to his health condition has caused the team to lose a player who has been 2 times MVP of the finals and 2 times NBA champion. But even so, this roster has managed to accumulate a total of 8 regular season MVPs so far, between LeBron James, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, and Joel Embiid. Before Leonard decided not to play, they also had 9 finals MVPs, and between them, they had 16 championship rings. But let's not lose perspective. Those Dream Team numbers are the accumulation of those achieved by all their players during their entire careers, while the careers of many of this team's players still have many years to go. In fact, players like Ant or Halliburton still have practically their entire careers ahead of them. Others like Devin Booker have been in the league for a while now, but have yet to get the recognition they aspire to as players of their potential. So no, it's not crazy to say that this team could be on the level of the Dream Team, or at least looking at the numbers. However, one thing we can be sure of is that the competition this team is going to face is much higher than what the Dream Team faced in Barcelona. The globalization of basketball has caused that gap to close. The talent that a roster like the USA can put together compared to other countries is closer than ever. The toughest team the Dream Team faced was undoubtedly Croatia, home country of one of the best European players, Drazen Petrovic. But it certainly didn't have anywhere near the depth that some national teams have today. Take Canada, the team that can field a rotation with solid NBA-level players. Or France, despite still being far from its potential, has plenty of players to do the same. Team USA still has to prove it. Right now, Canada and France, even at 100%, still probably won't have the talent to match up, but this will not always be the case. When Team USA's golden generation ends their career, someone is going to have to pick up the baton. Anthony Edwards seemed destined to become the undisputed leader of the team, but the guard will need more pieces to go with him. And although the American development system continues to produce prospects at a much faster pace than the rest of the world, these prospects are having trouble making it to the top of the top. Think of Ja Morant or Zion Williamson, two players who just after arriving in the NBA showed their potential to become not only superstars but MVP caliber players. An award that, by the way, no American player has won since James Harden did it in 2018. But because of injuries or off-court controversies, these players are taking longer to take that next step. Who knows if they ever will? Meanwhile, the rest of the countries continue to build. Who knows if one day Team USA will stop being the favorite to win FIBA tournaments? Of course, that is something that still seems far away. But now remove KD, Bron, and Steph from the roster? Is it still so far away? Now add the fact that France has consistently placed their players at the top of the draft for 2 seasons, and it doesn't look like they're going to stop doing so. Is that still that far off? It seems far-fetched, but it's looking more and more like reality. And even if Team USA dominates these Olympics from start to finish, defeating all countries even by big differences, this generational problem does not seem to be going away. As we watch the Redeem Team 2.0 take the court in Paris, we're not just witnessing a quest for gold. We're seeing a preview of basketball's global future, a future where American exceptionalism in the sport is no longer a given, but must be earned. The dominance of USA basketball may be challenged like never before, but this very challenge could usher in one of the most exciting and competitive eras in the history of international basketball. What do you think? Will USA remain at the top of the basketball world?